Hi, I'm Scott Willison, owner of the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. And today we're going to tie a little, kind of a variation on a really effective small streamer pattern. I fish this one a lot on trout spay. Locally it works great for sea run cutthroat, big rainbows in the Skagit, bull trout, you name it. And it's kind of a fun fly to tie. So this is my take on a fly called a Hibernator, and we're going to incorporate some really cool techniques that are really fun to play around with and experiment with when you're tying your own flies. So I encourage you to have fun with this one. I'm going to tie this on a little different hook than the original. This is an Ahrex hook. It's a Ahrex 156 traditional shrimp hook. It's beautiful black nickel finished hook. It has a shape very similar to like the Tiemco 200R, but incredibly strong hook. I don't think I could bend this one out. So fantastic hook to use for fish of all sizes. On that hook I've already placed a 1/8 inch black nickel tungsten bead, and we'll go ahead and get started here with some olive thread. In this case this is 140 Denier olive ultra thread. And then for the tail, I'm going to use some olive pine squirrel. You can do this with micro rabbit and a little bit bigger sizes as well, but for these small ones, this little size 10 number, we're going to stick with the squirrel. And I'm going to tie that tail in just right above the hook point there. And it's roughly the length of a hook shank. The cats have decided this is an optimal time to chase one another around the room. And then I'm going to tie in some small Palmer chenille right above where I tied in that tail. This isn't a super flashy fly, but this is going to incorporate a little bit of flash into the pattern. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a dubbing loop here. A couple of wraps around the base. And then we'll just take our thread up to the bead. And then I've got my favorite dubbing spinner here, the little Stonefo Roto Dub. And now for probably the trickiest part of this fly, I'm going to take a strip of more olive pine squirrel, and I'm going to put it in a little clip tool here. Trim this down just a hair. I think I want a good 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of this stuff. I've got about 1.5 inches now. I can spread it out in my dubbing loop as needed. But we'll go ahead and clip that in by the tips. So you can see it's clipped in there, and then I'm going to very carefully cut that hide away from the fur. Got a little piece of leather on there to get off. Really helps if you have a longer scissor, like the Dr. Slick hair scissor is kind of perfect for that application. And then we'll go ahead and put our fur in the dubbing loop. And then I'm going to just kind of spread that out give myself a little bit more length to work with. And I think we're where we want to be, so we can go ahead and spin that up. This stuff doesn't tend to clump up too badly, but I'll give it a light brush with a dubbing brush just to make sure I'm okay. And then we're going to do the fancy part of this fly. This is a technique called a complex twist. So I've got my Palmer chenille, and then I've got my dubbing loop, and I'm actually just going to twist those two materials together. So I'll just grab it at the base and start twisting. And I'll end up with a really, really cool thing that consists of two materials. Now, I've got a bunch of extra length I don't need, so I'm just going to cut that dubbing loop off. Twist it up, and then I got a little hackle plier here that we can attach to that. Give it another little brush here. And then at this point, we just wrap this material forward. Now, as I'm wrapping, I'm going to kind of sweep those fibers back a little bit. So I get everything flowing rearward. And I'm just trying to do touching wraps, but I really want to make sure I get that space so the Palmer chenille is kind of in between the squirrel, because that actually allows this thing, despite being really small or fairly small, it is going to allow it to pulsate really nicely in the water. Wrapped right up snug to the bead. We'll go ahead and do a couple wraps over, wrap or two in front, and then another wrap over. This also makes a great just leech pattern, sculpin pattern. I use this thing in lakes, I use it in rivers. Really just a fantastic fly. You can tie this in all sorts of colors as well. I'm going to build up just a little head behind that bead to lock it in place. And then we can trim that off, and then we'll finish it in a way I like to finish most of my flies behind the bead. You can do this with super glue, or you can do it with like a UV resin. In this case, I'm just using Solarez Bone Dry, and I'm just brushing it on the thread. And then we'll go ahead and do our whip finish. And then we'll hit that all around with our UV light. And we're good to go. Nice, quick, simple, little small streamer pattern. Lots of action in the water. Very, very effective fly. Definitely tie a few for the upcoming season here. there you have it. That is the Hibernator, or a variation of the Hibernator fly. Anyway, thanks for watching. You can find the materials for this fly and many others at the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content, and we will see you in the shop or on the water. Thanks for watching.